This is Unit 3, Lesson 21, Solving Quadratic Equations by Factoring. On this slide, please make sure you copy the questions, and we're going to combine a lesson you had a few lessons ago on how to factor, and we're going to combine it with solving quadratics using that method. So please copy the questions. Here I have copied number 1, which is y equals x squared plus 5x plus 4. So we are going to go ahead and set this up. When you're going to solve a quadratic, remember that means you're finding the roots, you're finding the zeros, you're finding the x-intercepts, just like we explained in that last lesson. So when you're solving a quadratic, you're really finding the x-intercept, which means you really want the x value. What you also know is that the y value will always be 0. That's why they also say find the zeros, because the y is the 0. So the first step is to make the y turn into a 0. That is your first step. And you're going to do that for all of these problems, always make the y equals 0. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to factor this. Okay, you're going to factor this trinomial. And you're going to end up with 2 pieces. That's your whole goal, to end up with 2 pieces. Now, the way you factor this trinomial is you want to use the double setup, if you remember that lesson. The double setup goes like this. Something times something equals the last number. In this case, the last number is 4. And then it's something plus something equals the middle number. And the middle number in this problem is 5. So what times what gives you 4? And what plus what gives you 5? So we're going to list the possibilities. We got 4 times 1, and then we got 2 times 2. Of those partnerships, which ones can give you 5 as your answer when you add them up? And so if you look at these, the only ones that can give you 5 would be the 4 times 1. Because if you add up the 4 and the 1, you get 5. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and fill that in there. So it has to be 4 and 1. You put it on the top and you put it on the bottom. And it works. 4 plus 1 equals 5. And 4 times 1 equals 4. So your answer, you're going to put it in parentheses. It's going to be x. And then the things that worked. So positive 4 worked and positive 1 worked. So this is review from the lesson where we did factoring. Now we're going to bring in the 0 that we have here. So we have 0 equals x plus 4 and x plus 1. We have to solve for x. So that means that these both have to equal 0. So we're going to go ahead and take this part first, and we're going to make it equal to 0. So I'm just going to write x plus 4 equals 0, and I'm going to solve it. So in order to get x by itself, I have to get rid of the plus 4. So I'm going to go minus 4 on both sides. And x equals negative 4. Okay, that's one of your x-intercepts. The other x-intercept, we do the same thing with the x plus 1. We make that equal to 0. X plus 1 equals 0. And then we get the x by itself. So we have to get rid of that 1. We subtract it. And then x equals negative 1. Okay, so those are your 2 answers. If you want a shortcut here, I guess one shortcut we can agree on here is that you just switch the sign. When you factor it, if it's a positive, you're going to switch it to a negative. Okay, so that's it. That's the answer for number 1.